And she fleeced you for how much?
$150.
In how short of a time?
Less than 5 minutes.
Episode 218 of the Dan Bradbury podcast, or part 3 of Dan Bradbury's Planegate.
I'm in a world of hate right now.
Yeah. I will tell you that I'm loving these episodes, and I think it's not so much because of the new format, which I love, by the way. It's not because we're in my studio in Tampa at Personify Studios, which I love, by the way. It's because I've realized how much joy I get out of watching you be miserable.
Honestly, I'm watching the clock because I kind of want to get to the airport, but I also know it's pretty pointless. You can probably hear the thunder over our heads right now.
At some point during this show, there's going to be a noise that we cannot edit out because the thunderstorms are insane right now. Nonetheless, we have a podcast to do, and I don't even want to point out the fact that you've been wearing the same shirt for the last 3 podcasts.
Yeah, for the last 3 weeks.
Anyway, let's talk about the new format, which I am loving, by the way, because what we're doing is we're getting rid of all of the news of the week, fail of the week, all that kind of stuff, and we're just honing down on one hyper-focused, specific strategy in one of the key 6 critical areas that are important in business. And we're going to make sure that everybody's watching or listening can walk away with at least one strategy that can help them scale, grow, perfect, minimize mistakes in one of those 6 areas. What's the area we're talking about today, my friend?
Sales.
Ooh, you love that one. I love that one. It's a fun one.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, people who hate selling, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you had, while you were here in Tampa, one of the coolest sales experiences I think I've heard of in a long time.
It was not cool.
It was cool. Because it didn't cost me a penny.
She fleeced me.
She did. Let's go into it.
Okay, so I was walking back from lunch to Personify Studios, and I was walking to the park, and a beautiful woman walks up to me and says, "Do you know there's only one state that ends with the letter K? If you can name it, I'll give you a lollipop. If you can't name it, you need to give me a donation."
Oh. Okay, wait, let me think. Because I'm going through all the states that like Kansas, Arkansas. But none of
exactly.
Them
I think that's part of the game. It's funny. So as a frequent visitor to the United States, I don't know if I can name all 50 states, but I'd be pretty close. I'd probably be better than most Americans.
Yeah.
And I'm immediately going through everything. North Dakota.
And
South
by the way,
Dakota.
What's crazy about that is the moment you start thinking about what it is, you have non-verbally consented to the arrangement.
That was it. I mean,
right?
Look, I've got no problems like shunning people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm people like turn a blind eye. No. Like, I'm not one of these people that, oh my God, I can't refuse talking to people. I'm happily blanking people. And I could see that she was raising funds. You know, there was a table out, etc. Yeah. And I was going to go straight past because I was kind of on a time budget, and yet. As soon as she asked me the question, I noticed myself mentally. As soon as she asked the question, I immediately went upstairs into thinking, and I just slowed down.
The moment that happened, she got you.
She stepped in front of me, and I started thinking about it.
Okay, and then and she fleeced you for how much?
$150.
How fast did that go?
Less than 5 minutes.
So basically, what did you do? You just go, I can't think. Did you come up with the answer?
Well, no. No, and I'm gonna. We'll tell them at the end of the story. I'll tell them it's so bloody obvious. And so I was thinking about it, but then she got in, and then she was just friendly and funny, and then she made me laugh because I was with one of my team, Chad, and she went, "Oh, where are you from?" And he went, "Kentucky." And then she went, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from England." And she went, "I knew that." And I went, "If you knew that, why did you ask me?" But
so then now you're already playing back with her.
Right. Yep. I was actually doing it in a kind of a flippant way, like, no, come on, like, stop playing the game. But she was kind of sweet and charming, like she knew she was being a bit cheeky, and she went, "I just wanted to hear your beautiful accent," right? And I'm like, right. But she just kept going. But the best bits over was when she was saying that she was raising for money for breast cancer. She said, "Do you know how much it costs first year treatment for breast cancer?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, because we have the NHS in England." And she went, "It costs $150,000. I was like, "What?"
She immediately anchored you to a high number.
Right.
Yep.
And in my mind, as I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I was partly just going, I'll just pay a donation because fine.
Yeah.
Like I give it to
I gotta
charities
go.
anyway.
Yeah.
I've got to go. So I went. Fine, you've got me. Like, how much do you want to donate? And I went $50. And she went, okay, and she pulled out a card, like an index card with like what $50 to do, what $100, and $50 was the lowest item on the list,
which kind of goes against your whole identity.
Right. And then she was like, oh, could you do $100, like blah 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 blah, allow us to get this? And I was like, sure, fine.
Yeah.
And then I'm going, come on, like let's move it along. And she went, I'm going to be really cheeky. Can I get you for $150? And I was just like, yes, fine. But the thing is,
you didn't
complain. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
No, she didn't stop. She was then like, come on, you can do $250. And I was like, no. I think my words were actually screw you or not even that polite. But she made me laugh.
Yeah.
So even though I was swearing at her, I was like, yeah, fine. And she got the sale.
By the way, in that story, you gave two, although they weren't clear, but they were very specific. So now I'm going to clarify them. Two great strategies in sales. Number one, fundamental rule in sales. If you can make your prospect laugh, you own them.
Yep.
It's
rapport, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when was the last time you as a business owner sat down with your sales team and said, how do we make our prospects laugh? Like, because by the way, her sales manager trained her to ask that question about the New York thing and gave her a lot of quick, witty responses. You mix that with her personality, it's a deadly combination. So that's one quick strategy, is to make sure you sit down with your sales team and develop humorous ways to own them. The second thing that you talked about in that story is the power of anchoring a price.
Oh, I've got a third one as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anchoring
Yeah.
a price. Yeah, 100%. It was brilliant. I mean, because the $150,000
immediately makes
just
$150
big number.
Nothing.
Correct. It makes seem like nothing. And in the first one, it's just rapport. It makes them human, right? And I said to Chad as we walked away, it's very obvious. Like that was her being herself.
Yeah.
Like they've got the right person for the job.
Yeah.
Because they've got to handle rejection and
Yeah.
Well, how do you handle the vast volumes of rejection she must get in that job?
Yep.
It's like she makes light of the situation. It's fun. It's just friendly. It's like you're far more likely to get a better response. Because interestingly, the next day, Topher, there was a difference. It was a woman again. A different woman was manning that stand as I was walking back from lunch again, and she asked the same question. And
you just looked at her and went, New York.
Yeah. Yes, I did. But she wasn't as good, wasn't as humorous. Didn't get in there with the quick lines and quick jokes, right?
Yeah.
So that's number two. But the third one, Topher, which is a powerful sales strategy, is questions.
Okay, I've got a fourth one now. I'll keep going.
Right,
Questions,
because it was so brilliant. It wasn't a hey, would you donate to Breast Cancer UK or whatever the organisation name was. It wasn't a statement of fact. It was something that caused me to think, and that gave me just the pattern intro, just enough that it's like, Which,
by the way, it wasn't a yes or no question. It was an open-ended question that required you to think.
Right.
That got you down this mental path, right? And that, there was two things. Number one, it was an open-ended question, but that open-ended question presupposed the outcome that she wanted.
yes.
Yeah. Fourth strategy, always upsell. Always ask for more.
Yes.
Right?
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I mean, to get from 50 to 150.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, I'm kind of going, because again, in a part of downtown Tampa, and I suspect she was approaching people that looked like they had money. Not that I was particularly dressed up, but I wasn't in sweats, right? So that amount of money isn't significant to me, but if you think about it, when she got the sale, it's like 50, 100, 150, fine. And ironically, if she got me for 100 first, could she have got me to 250?
She probably could have. If she would have said, "I'm going to be real cheeky right up front and gone for 250," you very well may have done it.
Right. Because she had the rapport, right? So all these items dovetail together.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the book of the week, a book that you really enjoy.
Great book this week. It ties in sales with systems from last week's episode, and that's Predictable Revenue. So this book is, what's great about this book is it talks about the strategies of how Salesforce.com scaled to 100 million in recurring revenues. It's not about building a recurring revenue business. So you don't have to be a SaaS business, software owners do it. But it's about developing lead gen and nurture and how to have systems to optimize your sales pipeline.
Yeah. By the way, it's interesting you just said that, and that reminded me what a great segue this is to talk about your next CEO Mastermind coming up in September. Do you know the exact dates? I want to say 19th and 20th, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Late September.
Yeah, we'll just say late September. Yeah, where your best kept secret, one of the most loved segments of your CEO Mastermind, you're bringing in one of the former heads of cybersecurity from Salesforce to talk about what are things business owners can be doing and should be doing and probably aren't doing to make sure that they protect themselves from everything from malware to ransoms to you name it. And that's going to be an exciting conversation because she's got some great stories to share as well.
Right. I mean, just think like this. If this stuff doesn't scare you, like, yeah, you've got to be worried of the risks. Yeah. I can give multiple examples of people that have been defrauded, had websites shut down, and unbelievable.
By the way, interesting fact on that. A lot of people think, well, I don't have to worry about that stuff because I'm using blockchain technology to protect all my assets. Did you know that quantum computing will be able to hack blockchain technology?
I've heard this.
Yes. So, you better be preparing for it. It's coming down the pike. All right, listen. Check out the CEO Mastermind. We never talk about who the actual guest is on these, but if you do want to know who she is and her background, and by the way, she's moved on to another great company as well, you can certainly give us a call or email Gabriella at danbradbury.com and engage into a conversation with her, and she'd be happy to share with you some of the details if you want to learn more about the CEO Mastermind coming up late September at work conferences. All right, let's wrap it up with a quote. Great parking. Yeah. Let's wrap it up with the quote of the week.
This week's quote of the week is from entrepreneurial advocate Lisa Mazzello.
Women's entrepreneurial advocate, yes.
Well, they're still entrepreneurs, right?
Well, yeah, but that's her target. That's her market.
Anyway, back to the point. She says that happy customers become your most successful advocates and your best sales team.
Indeed it is. All right. Listen, my friend, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here and let's go see if you can sit at an airport and hope and pray that this plane gets out on time.
All right. As always, Topher, if you want a better business, you need to be a better business owner. I hope you enjoyed that episode. 3 things you need to do now. Number 1, make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you do not miss an episode. Also, get on over to Amazon to get a copy of my latest book, Turnover is Vanity, Profit is Sanity, 9.5 steps to improving your profits and cash flow. Also, join our Facebook group, the Turnover is Vanity, Profit is Sanity community, to connect with other business owners.